Jai Hind students, welcome to my YouTube channel. Students, there is nothing more true in your life than taking your own decision. It is in your moments of decision making that your destiny is shaped. For it, in turn, decides the course of your destiny. Will your decision bring a better future or none at all? But you can take the easy way out too. Follow in everybody's footsteps, or you can do what one in a million does.
With that positive note, students, let's begin today's session. Today we are going to discuss NCERT textual questions. We are going to discuss the questions which are given in the NCERT textbook. Let's begin with the first question, students. First question is, the magnetic field in a given region is uniform. We are supposed to draw a diagram to represent it. And we also need to draw a diagram to represent non-uniform magnetic field. So let's draw the diagram for the uniform magnetic field. Students, uniform means constant. So uniform magnetic field at a place means the magnetic field strength both in magnitude as well as direction is same at all the places in the given region. So uniform magnetic field is represented by a set of equidistant parallel lines like this. This represents uniform magnetic field. So it is represented by set of equidistant parallel lines. So this is the proper representation of uniform magnetic field. So at any point, the magnetic field, its magnitude and direction is same, right? Now let's plot non-uniform magnetic field. Non-uniform means where the magnetic field, its strength or direction is not same. So it will be represented by the arrows which are crowded at some place and they're less crowded at some other place, like this. It represents non-uniform magnetic field. Now students, suppose this is region A and let us consider this to be region B. Now in region A, the field lines are more crowded. So in this region, the magnetic field is stronger. While in this region, the magnetic field lines are less crowded. And accordingly, in this region, the magnetic field strength is weaker. So here in this region, the magnetic field at different points is different. Therefore, it represents non-uniform magnetic field. Right? Okay. Let's concentrate on the second question. It's an MCQ type question. We are supposed to choose the correct option. The magnetic field inside a long solenoid carrying current is, first option is 0. Decreases as we move towards its ends, third is constant, and fourth is increases as we move towards its ends. Now solenoid, we are aware of it, right? We can consider a soft iron core, and it's the case of a long solenoid, right? This is suppose a soft iron core, and number of turns of copper wire is wound over it. So it's like this. Number of turns of copper wire is wound over it. Now earlier in the theoretical portion we have discussed, students, that when current is made to pass through such a solenoid, then what happens is one end of the solenoid behaves as the south pole while the other end of the solenoid behaves as the north pole. So it will behave as a bar magnet or a magnetic dipole. So suppose current is flowing along this direction. So looking from here, the current is flowing in the clockwise direction, isn't it? So this end will behave as the south polarity, while the other end of the solenoid will behave as the north polarity. And students, we are aware, inside the solenoid, the magnetic field lines are directed from south to north, and outside it is directed from north to south, so that the field lines are in the form of continuous closed loops. So if the solenoid is long, then here the field lines are almost straight and parallel, like this. These are the field lines. They are almost straight and parallel. And straight and parallel field lines represents uniform magnetic field. So straight and parallel field lines represents uniform or constant magnetic field. So here at any point inside the long current carrying solenoid, the magnetic field is same. Suppose this is point A. Let us consider this to be point B. Let us consider this to be point C. Let us consider this to be point D. So magnetic field at point A is equal to magnetic field at point B. Magnetic field is represented by capital letter B. It is equal to magnetic field at point C is equal to magnetic field at point D is equal to constant. So at any point inside a straight long current carrying solenoid, the magnetic field is uniform or it is constant or it is same at every point inside the long straight current carrying solenoid. Therefore, option C is correct. Now let's concentrate on question number 3, students. Which of the following property of a proton can change when it moves freely in a magnetic field? Now proton is a charged particle. We are aware it's a constituent particle of nucleus, isn't it? It's a positively charged particle. So whenever it tends to move in a magnetic field in a direction perpendicular to the magnetic field, obviously it will experience force, isn't it? Now when the proton or the charged particle experiences a force, then there will be obviously a change in momentum. Force, we are aware, students, as per Newton's second law, force is directly proportional to the time rate change in the momentum. So first point is, proton being a charged particle, it will experience a force under the influence of perpendicular magnetic field, isn't it? And we are aware force is directly proportional to the time rate change in the momentum as per the Newton's second law. Also, momentum of a body is given by the product of mass and velocity. Now look, since force has been acting on the charged particle, therefore the momentum must be changing. Momentum must be changing means the velocity must also be changing because mass of a body is constant, isn't it? Therefore, students, in this case, the momentum must be changing because the charged particle will experience a force and force is equal to the time rate change in the momentum. And since momentum is mass into velocity, therefore with the change in momentum, the velocity of the body will also change. Therefore, there are two answers, there are two correct options in it. So, the velocity as well as the momentum of a proton can change when it moves freely in a magnetic field. Okay, now let's concentrate on question number 4. It's a very, very good question based on Fleming's left-hand rule. So, basically the question is, a positively charged particle, alpha particle. Alpha particle is a positively charged particle. It is represented by alpha particle is represented by helium nuclei, He42. 2 is the atomic number and 4 is the atomic mass, right? So it's a positively charged particle. It is projected towards west and is deflected towards north by a magnetic field. We are supposed to find out the direction of the magnetic field. So students, let's consider this. Suppose this is north, this is south, and let us consider this to be west and east, right? Now again, let's read the question. A positively charged particle projected towards west. It is projected towards west. Positively charged particle is going along this direction. Now students, you are aware the current will also be along the direction of the movement of the positive charge particle, right? It is in a direction, current is in a direction opposite to that of the movement of the negatively charged particle, but the direction of the current is along the direction of the positive charged particle. So the positive charged particle is directed towards west. It is projected towards west. So this will be the direction of the current. I stands for the direction of the current. And it get deflected towards north. Now it get deflected towards north means it will experience a force towards north. That is the reason why it is getting deflected. So under the influence of magnetic field, this charged particle gets deflected towards north. So it will experience a magnetic force towards north. Isn't it? So they are perpendicular. Now using Fleming's left hand rule, we are supposed to find out the direction of the magnetic field. Now look students, we are already aware of Fleming's left hand rule, isn't it? If we stretch the thumb, the first finger or forefinger and the central or the middle finger of our left hand such that they are mutually perpendicular to each other, then in case the middle finger represents the direction of the flow of current, the forefinger represents the direction of the magnetic field, then the thumb will represent the direction of the magnetic force, right? So in this case, it is from east to west, isn't it? So this forefinger, this represents the magnetic field. It's in the upward direction. Clear students? Thumb represents the direction of the force, that is towards north as per the diagram, right? Current is from east to west, towards west, right? This is the direction of the current, the central finger. And this one, the first finger or the forefinger, that represents the direction of the magnetic field. So the direction of the magnetic field is perpendicular to the plane of the paper and directed upwards, isn't it? So option D. So it will be like this. The magnetic field would be like this, along this direction. So the direction of magnetic field is perpendicular to the plane of the paper and directed upwards. So D is the correct option, right? Let's proceed with question number 5 then. It's again a very interesting question. Imagine yourself to be sitting in a chamber. This is suppose a chamber with your back to one wall. An electron beam moving horizontally from back wall towards the front wall is deflected by a strong magnetic field to your right side. What is the direction of the magnetic field? It's a very, very good question, students. Try to understand the question. Imagine yourself to be sitting in this chamber, right? If you're sitting over here, suppose this is the back wall and you're facing this wall. So this will act as the front wall. So the electron beam is moving horizontally from back wall towards the front wall. So electron beam is moving from the back wall to the front wall. This is where the electron beam is moving. Now students, in the earlier question also I've stated the direction of the current is along the direction of movement of the positive charged particle. But the direction of the current is opposite to that of the direction of negatively charged particles. Electron, it's a negatively charged particle, isn't it? So if the electron is moving from back wall to front wall, then it will constitute a current whose direction will be from front wall to back wall, because electron is a negatively charged particle, right? So the direction of the current would be like this. This will be the direction of the current. So I, it is the current, and its direction would be in a direction opposite to which the electron beam is moving, right? So it will be, the direction of the current will be from front wall to back wall. Now imagine yourself to be over here. This is the front wall and this is the back wall. And this electron beam gets deflected towards right. It gets deflected towards right like this. It will get deflected towards right. So this is where the force is acting. It get deflected towards right means this is the direction in which the magnetic force must be acting, right? Now here we are supposed to find out the direction of the magnetic field. So out of F, B and I, the direction of F and I are given. So the direction of magnetic field can be easily found again by using Fleming's left hand rule, right? Thumb represents the direction of the force. Forefinger or the first finger represents the direction of the magnetic field, and central finger represents the direction of the current. So let's apply this rule over here, right? Current is along this direction, that is from front wall to back wall. This is the magnetic field and this is the force. Force is towards right, like this. Look students, this is the current, this is I, this is the current which is directed from front wall to back wall, right? This is the force acting towards my right. The thumb represents the force. So what about the forefinger, which represents magnetic field? It is directed in the downward direction. It is directed in the downward direction, isn't it? So the direction of the magnetic field over here would be, let me represent it by this. This will be the direction of the magnetic field. All are perpendicular. This cross, it represents the direction of magnetic field perpendicular to the plane of the paper and directed inwards. Right? So applying Fleming's left hand rule, the direction of the magnetic field is, the direction of magnetic field using Fleming's left hand rule is found to be perpendicular to the plane of the paper and directed inward. So it's a very, very good question. Now let's proceed to question number 6. State the rule to determine the direction of a magnetic field produced around a straight conductor carrying current. Okay. First one. You are aware, students, whenever we consider a current carrying conductor, then magnetic field get established around its surroundings or vicinity. And the direction of magnetic field due to a current carrying conductor is given by right hand thumb rule. Suppose current is flowing along this direction, right? So we are supposed to hold the current carrying conductor in the palm of our right hand. In that case, if the thumb represents the direction of the flow of current, then the direction in which the rest of the fingers curl, that will give us the direction of the magnetic field. So magnetic field are in the form of continuous closed loops, isn't it? So the direction of magnetic field produced around a straight conductor carrying current is given by right hand thumb rule. Okay, let's concentrate on the second part then. Force experienced by a current carrying straight conductor placed in a magnetic field which is perpendicular to it. So in that case, we make use of Fleming's left hand rule, right? If the thumb, the forefinger and the central finger of our left hand is stressed so that they all are perpendicular to each other. In that case, if the central finger represents the current, the forefinger represents the direction of the magnetic field, then the thumb represents the direction of the magnetic force. So the rule by which the direction of the force experienced by a current carrying straight conductor placed in a magnetic field can be found as Fleming's left hand rule. So the answer of the second part is Fleming's left hand rule. Okay, now consider the third part. Current induced in a coil due to its rotation in a magnetic field. So this is, we are talking about is induced current. So whenever there's a change in the magnetic field or magnetic flux linked with the coil, then an induced voltage or an induced current is produced, the direction of which is given by Fleming's right hand rule. Students, Fleming's right hand rule states that if you stress the thumb the forefinger or the first finger and the central finger of your right hand, such that they all are perpendicular to each other. These three are perpendicular to each other. Then, if the thumb represents the direction of motion of the conductor, the forefinger represents the direction of the magnetic field, then the central finger will point towards the direction of the induced current. So, MBI. M stands for motion of the conductor, B stands for the magnetic field, I stands for the current. And in the case of Fleming's left-hand rule, which we have discussed in case 2, it is FBI. Remember, it is FBI in the case of Fleming's left-hand rule, and in the case of Fleming's right-hand rule, it is MBI. M stands for motion of the conductor, B stands for the magnetic field, and the central finger, it will point towards the direction of the induced current, right? So, the direction of the induced current in a coil due to its rotational magnetic field can be found by using Fleming's right-hand rule. Okay, let's proceed with the last question then. When is the force experienced by a current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field largest? Now students, obviously, we have discussed the force experienced by a current carrying conductor under the influence of magnetic field. It does depend upon the strength of the magnetic field. It also depends upon the current which is made to flow through that conductor, and it is also directly proportional to the length of the conductor, isn't it? So this we are all aware of. That is, suppose this is the conductor. It carries current along this direction, isn't it? And if it is under the influence of magnetic field, perpendicular magnetic field, this is 90 degree. In that case, it will experience maximum force, right? This is the case where it will experience maximum force. Understood, students? So, the force experienced by a current carrying conductor in a magnetic field will be largest when the conductor is placed perpendicular to the direction of the magnetic field. So, F is maximum, that is the magnetic force experienced by a current carrying conductor is maximum when the conductor or the current carrying conductor, when the current carrying conductor is placed at right angle, or is placed perpendicular to the magnetic field. This is the angle 90 degree which the magnetic field must make with the current carrying conductor. So it is in this condition that the force experienced by the current carrying conductor be maximum. So I sincerely hope students you have understood all these questions which we have done, right? So keep practicing such questions. Keep attempting more and more additional numericals, and this is the only way you can gain in confidence, right? So that's it for this particular session. Do study well, do study consistently, and stay fit, stay happy, and always keep smiling. Thank you, students.